Hey there, it's Diane Forrester, and welcome to I Have Today, where we talk about the art of intentional living. This show is all about inspiring, empowering, and educating you through life's transitions. And today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Felena Hanson. I'm going to tell you all about her in just a few minutes. You are going to want to listen to her story, tune in to what she has created in her life and her mission and her vision for helping and supporting women, which we absolutely love here. So if this is your first time here, I want to say welcome to the show. We really appreciate you. And if you've been here before, I want to say welcome back. We are streaming live on the E360 television network. We're also streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and X simultaneously. And this show gets uploaded as a podcast. So if you prefer to listen to podcasts, you can find us everywhere you can find us. I Have Today with Diane Forster. So thank you so much for being here. So before I bring Felena up, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what's going on here at I Have Today. First things first, our network, I Have Today TV, is growing rapidly. We're enrolling more and more TV hosts onto the network who are building their TV shows right now, which is so exciting because our network is all about helping you go through life's transitions as well. And we have fantastic experts that are going to be bringing their shows to you. So we're going to have more information on that as the network premieres. And this week, I am launching a podcast on TV hosting. Ha ha ha, I get the irony, a podcast about TV hosting. Yes, and it's called Be a TV Star Host. And what I'm going to do is I am going to help you and educate you on why now is the perfect time for you to have your own TV show. What's happening in the industry, what's happening in the entrepreneurial space, and ways for you to build an asset that is a TV show that you own 100%. You get to design it, build it, create it the way you want. You get to monetize it the way you want, distribute it the way you want, and it becomes your legacy. And it is a powerful marketing tool that replaces 15 other marketing tools. So if that's something you're interested in, we're going to have notes in the description for you to pre-subscribe to the podcast now. And that's called Be a TV Star Host. So we'll have more information about that. Team and I have been building it. We're so excited about it. So what else is going on here is we are going to have another TV Host Maker event that's coming up in just about 8 weeks. So we'll have notes for that, show notes for that as well. And that is going to be a virtual 3-day event. And that's your way to come and spend 3 days with me from the comfort of your own home to design and build your TV show. And so everything from your branding to building your brand, building your business, and building your TV show. So we'll have more information about that as well. So, all right. So our theme this week is how to live with no excuses and regrets. That's what I want Felena to share with you. That's what you're going to walk away with today. And so I know her story is going to inspire you. She's a multiple award-winning entrepreneur and business owner. She owns multiple businesses. She's built this incredible community. She built one of the first co-working spaces for women that's thriving. She's got 6 locations. She's on a mission to help 20,000 women. So we hope to help her do that today. So our intention statement is, I have today to live with no excuses or regrets. I have today to live with no excuses or regrets. So every week my team makes that a beautiful graphic with our intention statement for the week. And there it is. It's on the screen right now. Where you can find that is on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. If you go over there to my profile, you'll see a little button that says intention statements, and that graphic is already there. And what I want you to do is I want you to take your phone, take a screenshot of it, and use it as your screensaver, as your reminder for the entire week that you do have today to live with no excuses and no regrets. You know, all we have is today. It is truly the only thing that we have. And how are you going to put your head on the pillow tonight at the end of this day and reflect back on this day, look at it and say, Did I really live it full out? Did I really bring it today? Am I living a life without excuses or regrets? Because this is how we do it in this moment by moment awareness. And so this intention statement is there to help and support you to do that. So, and while you're over there at Instagram, if you're not following me and you feel called to, I'd love for you to follow me. I'd love to get to know you. So, all right. And so now we're getting ready to bring Felena up into the studio with me. But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, the Spifter. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. All right, and you can get your Spifter on Amazon.com. And hello to Felena Hanson. Welcome to I Have Today.
Hi, hello. So excited to be here.
Well, we are so honored and excited to have you. I know what a busy lady you are when everybody hears about who you are and what you do. So we appreciate you taking the time to come and inspire our audience today. So,
absolutely.
Great. First, I'd like to share a little bit about you with the audience. So Felena Hanson calls herself unemployable. After her position was eliminated in the year 2003, she became an entrepreneur back then, and she's never looked back. When Felena launched her first business, Perspective Marketing, she found her passion for supporting other female entrepreneurs through leadership roles with several professional women's organizations, including Women's Global Network and Ladies Who Launch. In 2010, Felena recognized the trend of the gig economy and the rise of co-working spaces. After 9 months of research, she saw a gap in the market for a space that was especially welcoming to women. She launched her first co-working space in San Diego, California, which is where we are, and in 2011, and has since built 6 additional locations across the country. Hera Hub, named after the Greek goddess of women, still stands out in the sea of thousands of co-working spaces. This is not only due to its spa-inspired elements, and I've been there many of times, I've hosted events there, of co-working spaces, but also of the robust business support. In addition to in-person community building events, the online platform provides members with daily mentoring, accountability, and educational sessions to keep them connected and productive. Over the last decade, Hera Hub and its family of brands have helped over 13,000 women start or grow their businesses. Felena is on a mission to reach over 20,000 women. So impressive. So impressive. All right. Well, we have a story, and I recently, for the viewers and the listeners, I recently had the pleasure of hearing Felena speak live in person, which is why I wanted to have you on the show. I wanted to have you on the show anyway, but that really, I said, oh my God, the audience needs to hear this story. And one of the things that you shared was your story of your accident, which blew me away. So I would love for you to share a little bit about your background and that story and what led you to who you are today.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. San Diego has been my hometown for quite some time. Although I grew up on the central coast of California, I came here to go to college. I went to University of San Diego and studied business, took a job in LA right out of school, and was down for the weekend visiting some girlfriends. And to make a very long story short, got hit by a fire truck at the end of the 8 freeway. They ran a red light, and I didn't see or hear them coming, and broke 27 bones in my arms, legs, and face. I have titanium pretty much everywhere. And it was, I'm just out of college, my whole life ahead of me. It was rough. It took a long time to recover, and really was I guess, an opportunity for me to see that as an opportunity to do something bigger in the world. I didn't do that right away. It took me a few years to kind of get my sea legs back and, get into the workforce. I work for high tech companies, startups mostly. Got laid off 3 times by the age of 30
Wow.
and said, gosh darn it, I need to control my own destiny. Both my parents are entrepreneurs, small business owners. And so it was that time to kind of step into my own and launch my own business. So as you mentioned, I had a marketing agency for about 8 years. And through that process of working, alone, so to speak, running my own business, I had contractors, but no full-time employees. I really just missed that sense of connection and community. Bouncing ideas off of people. I mean, we need each other face to face, and that has been even more apparent as we come out of COVID. We've got a lot of mental health challenges that have happened to both children, teens, adults through everything that we've been through. And it's just so important to see each other face to face and connect with each other. And that's what a co-working space does. And so, as you said, I did some research and after a lot of setbacks, finally opened our first space April 15th, 2011.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the setbacks because I yesterday here in the States was Mother's Day, and I had the honor to go up to LA where both my children live. They're twins, a son and a daughter, and they're 26, almost 27 years old, and they're both working and they're also building their own company now, which makes me so proud. And one of the things that they said was, watching us women, watching me as a mother and a woman, the amount of resilience that we have and the whatever it takes sort of attitude. So this is what I want to highlight right now from the beginning is talk about those setbacks and what was it within you that keeps you going, through the setbacks.
Yeah. So even I would say my car accident wasn't the first setback I experienced in life. Like a lot of folks, experienced my parents' divorce and then remarriage and had a bit of a bumpy childhood from that perspective. I was an only child. Now I have 8 brothers and sisters, adopted half, you name
Wow.
it, foster kids, like just a very, very interesting childhood. We've all been through something, right? But that did teach me resilience. Both my parents are very resilient. They're fighters. They're small business owners. So I like to say that I'm gritty, and I got that from them, and I really do appreciate that. My car accident was, unfortunate, right? Not many people get hit by a fire truck. But it did, it certainly made me appreciate that I was alive, right? Because I very well could have not made it through that experience. And appreciate the fact that, it really galvanized the people around me. And that's what big events oftentimes like that do. It really made me see how incredibly lucky I was to have friends and family in my life and those that supported me on that long road to recovery. So I really do take that resilience with me. I like to joke that some days I'll forget and I need to put like a tattoo on my forehead so I can remember, it's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And we've all been through so much, right? Even most recently with COVID, I mean, almost everybody we know lost somebody. There's physical challenges, mental challenges, but it's that gap between what happens to you and how you respond to it that to me is really almost the only thing that matters. It's that decision to say, I can use this to fuel myself, to get grittier, to keep pushing forward, or I can wallow in that. I can say, why'd this happen to me? And, why is the world treating me this way? Right? That's a choice we have. And that choice is easier for some than others. But it is a choice in some way, shape, or form for everybody. And so I feel lucky that I was able to make that choice to use that experience and others to propel me into what I'm doing. And I think it makes me a better business person and a better leader and connector, I like to say. My secret sauce is connecting people, I'm sure, as yours is as well. And so, all those experiences add up into, the person I am now and the work that we've done with Hera Hub over the last 13 years. We just celebrated our 13th anniversary.
That's so fantastic. Yes. When I first came to San Diego, I attended an event there. Somebody was hosting an event there. And I thought, wow, this is so fantastic. And it was, the year was 2015. So that's 9 years ago. So you were
Yeah.
still, I didn't know how many locations you had, but I went to the one in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a brilliant concept and way to bring women together, because I was a newbie entrepreneur. I had just quit corporate America in May, and this was November-ish I was there. So I remember being really, really impressed with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so great. And yeah. And so for women out there who are, also want to be unemployable, and really build that resilience and live a life with, no excuses and no regrets, because that's how I titled this show. Just so you know, this is for the audience too. When I have a guest on and I find somebody I want to bring to the audience, it's very intentional, because we talk about the art of intentional living. And it's about, well, what can this person bring to my audience of women that are over 80% women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s? And I know that this is an age group that has dealt with a lot in life, right? And there's a lot of trapped trauma and limiting beliefs and self-doubt and fear and so much change, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and in a very second chapter part of our lives, where it's an opportunity for us to really step out and now go, hey, wait, what is all this for? And what do I really want to do? What can you say to them about having the guts and the gumption to maybe go after those dreams? And like, what would be some action steps you would advise them to take?
Yeah, just like a muscle, taking risk, or however you want to classify risk, is a muscle, and you have to just start to build that muscle. Frankly, I always like to ask myself, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Good
Right?
question.
What's the
Yes.
worst thing that could happen?
Mm-hmm.
And usually, if you really list those things out, it's really probably not going to be that bad. I mean, you run a business. It is not easy. It is not easy to be an entrepreneur, to build a business. And a lot can go wrong, and you have to be okay with that. I like to say you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you are not comfortable with being uncomfortable, then entrepreneurship may not be for you, frankly, right? It's not for everybody. But you really look at what's the worst thing that can happen. And then on the other side of the sheet, what are the best things that can happen, right? And list those out. You can reinvent yourself 100 times throughout a lifetime. I know I have several times. Our identities get wrapped up, especially in this age group you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
with family and work and who we are as we attach ourselves to other people. And it's scary sometimes to unattach ourselves from a particular identity, but it won't kill us. And I like to challenge and say, actually, it's fun, right? It's fun. Think of it in a fun perspective of being able to reinvent yourself. And we can do that. In the US, we are so blessed. We have so many opportunities. I had the blessing to work with the International Rescue Committee here in San Diego over the years, and felt like it was my turn to give back. And so I've been housing for the last year an asylum seeking family from Haiti, a mother and daughter. And every day I am reminded how lucky we have it, not only living in this country in regards to the opportunities, but just growing up in this country, right? Like we know how the system works. Imagine, fleeing your country and coming to a new country and just having no idea how anything works and having language barrier issues. Like we are really, really lucky, and it makes me sad when I see an amazing woman not step into her power and really take on that opportunity. So that's what we do at Hera Hub every day. We help women launch and scale their businesses.
It's so beautiful. I mean, we're so aligned. You're doing it in person, where the proximity is together. And I know you have a virtual platform as well. Talk about that community. What's that like?
Yeah, so a couple things. Our members have spread out across the country, especially with COVID, and folks that are members want to bring a friend along. They think this might be a good fit for them. So we do have a pretty robust virtual platform where we do daily business acceleration, education, mentoring. And then we have two formal business accelerator programs, one for launch stage companies and one for growth stage companies. And that's something that I built really out of the book that I wrote, came the Launch Academy. And then through COVID and some opportunities I had with the National Association of Women Business Owners and Bank of America, I built pretty much everything, my knowledge and the knowledge of our community from the last decade into a platform that really helps from a very practical perspective, entrepreneurs scale their business, take it to the next level.
Amazing. Amazing. Yes. Yeah. So talk about your book, actually. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's called Flight Club, as in taking flight as an entrepreneur. The cover of the book has a peacock on it, and you can see from my background, I have a peacock as well. I grew up with peacocks. That was my first entrepreneurial venture, was selling peacock feathers in my little hometown on the central coast of California. The subtitle of the book is Rebel. That's growing up. I grew up in quite an unconventional, what I call rebellious family. Reinvent and thrive, how to launch your dream business. So it's a bit of my story, stories of other women, and a very practical step-by-step guide on how to launch a business. There's so much on the internet on how to launch a business. But what I found over the course of being an entrepreneur for 20 years and teaching entrepreneurship at the college level as well, when I had my prior business, just a lot of it isn't just very, very practical. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs kind of get tangled up in some of the areas of their business that are most important, like finances and documentation of processes and the things that aren't fun for everybody. So that's what we really promote, is just like core acumen, like how to actually get a business off the ground from a practical perspective. And then when folks are ready, how to then take it to that next level where you're hiring employees or raising money.
Yes, and I believe this, and I heard it a million times, and I'm sure you have too. For anybody out there is an entrepreneur or is thinking about being an entrepreneur, you're very correct. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. There is learning every single day, and the more knowledge and resources you have, the better it's going to be. But you're still going to go through all of that, and if you could just be resilient enough and have that grit and that no excuses, no regrets attitude to keep going and be tenacious enough to have your eye on the prize. Like, remember what you're doing and why you're doing it and the impact. You see, you have a clear target, which I love. We do too. You have a target of helping 20,000 women. So every decision you make is based on, are we moving towards that goal? And what I see too, because as a life and mindset coach, I help women as well, not the same way you do, but I see them on the road with no map, no direction,
Mm-hmm.
to the point of, and I'm just feeling this, so I'm saying this, to the point of, I was speaking to a friend of mine who's an entrepreneur this weekend, and I gave myself a window of time to record podcasts so I could be out the door at a certain time to make the party and do the things. And she was working, and I said, what time are you stopping? And she didn't have a stop time. I said, you got to give yourself a stop time because you will just get lost. And that's the thing with being an entrepreneur. When it's your own business, there's always something to do. So if you don't prioritize that, if you don't have your SOPs like you and your goals and things like that, then you will be perpetually doing that. And so that causes frustration and burnout and all the things. So having a community like yours where is accountability and all your expertise in it, you've done it, is what you want to do. You want to follow someone like you who's been there, done that multiple times. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I think one important thing to mention, Diane, too, that I see with entrepreneurs is what I call shiny object syndrome. We get down a road, a path so far, we get frustrated, and then somebody else over here is like, Instagram ad, or, something I saw on YouTube, or my neighbor said this, right? And I think for women especially, we're so talented, and I'm terrible at multitasking, to be honest, but I know a lot of women are good at it. And so, this sort of, am I doing the right thing? Am I going down the right path? Well, what about this, right? And that's where I think women, they need that support in that community, whether it's for mindset or business skills or whatever it is. Like, wherever you live and you're watching this, go get plugged into a community. I cannot emphasize that enough, whether it's a female focused or co-ed or whatever it is, just find community. Don't do it alone.
It's so true, because it is lonely. As an entrepreneur, it is lonely. Yes. And you do need the support. So given what's going on in the world right now, I mean, where do you see, what's your take on it? And because you're really good at the gap. I do the same thing. You're really good at figuring out the gap and then the solution and the opportunity. So where do you see that, given what's happening in the world right now?
Yeah, I'll point to AI first, artificial intelligence. It's something everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
I do truly think that is going to revolutionize a lot of areas, including business and education as well. Something that I've been passionate about, really throughout my entire career is education, educating, right? Learning, growing, whether that's in a formal sense, in a university setting, or what we have now, which is a lot of options, right? Outside of the university setting. But I think, and where, I'm passionate about is, how do we support the next generation? You mentioned you've got 2 children in their mid-20s, right? How do we support that next generation of entrepreneurs or whatever they want to do in engaging with the technology that's in front of us and leveraging, harnessing that for whatever we do? And I think the educational system, again, teaching at the college level and seeing, what the outcome of K through 12, if you will, even 13, 14 years ago when I was teaching as an adjunct for fun on the side was a bit scary to me. I'm going to be honest, Diane, of what I saw the product of what K through 12 did. Just education being not keeping up with the world and what's happening. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So I'm passionate about education, about teaching folks that, maybe are going to be in industries that don't exist, frankly, in a couple years. And in a couple years sounds dramatic, but with what is being developed right now, there will be lots of new jobs available, but there will be a lot of obsolete jobs. And so I think it's our duty as a country to look at that next generation and give them the opportunity that we had, that you had, that I had, to build something, to buy a home at some point, to, create a level of wealth that brings them stability. And I'm not seeing that in what is coming out of, again, K through 12 and into the workforce as I look to hire.
Mm-hmm. That's really powerful and very frightening too. Yes. Thank you for
opportunity. There's an opportunity here, but really, I think a lot of people are scared of AI, right? Or they're afraid of it. They don't want to, it will change things. It will. And I think we have to be ready for that. And we have to educate the next generation for the jobs 10 years from now, not the jobs of today.
Yes. And it's so interesting to think what those jobs are going to be. Think about the world's needs right now and where it's going in terms of the environment and the economy and health and wellness and, all the industries. It's wow. Wow, that's really important. Yes. And I know, your level of knowledge in marketing and business is exceptional, really exceptional. And your handle on what you're doing is fantastic. My space is mindset and media, and infotainment. I want to educate the world. What my mission is, and why I love what you're doing so much, is driving people to you. I am big into community too, but I'm looking for those powerful sources all over the world that I can link to different people for different services like you, where I want my audience, everybody listening and watching, and everyone on my list and everywhere you are on social media, to be a part of your world, because what you're offering is such an amazing perspective that people need to be aware of. We get in our own bubbles, right? And that's a normal thing, but to be thinking on a higher level like this and preparing for the future. Yeah. So, all right. I want to ask you a couple more questions. And the first question is, and I didn't give you a heads up for this, but so it's going to be great.
It's all good.
I ask everybody, how do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally in the present moment? And if you wouldn't mind, will you start it with the statement, I have today too?
I have today to change the lives of other people through entrepreneurship.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Could not be better said than that. That's your mantra.
Yeah.
And then what do you wish more people knew, Felena?
Oh, great question. So much. I wish more people knew truly the power of community. We just have become so isolated, so focused on the little screen in front of us or the big screen in front of us. I wish people knew that it is making them physically sick to not have community, to not get out and see people face to face, physically and mentally. sick. We have a loneliness epidemic in this country as deemed by our Surgeon General. And I see that every day. So I wish people would see that and step out, even though it might feel uncomfortable, to really support each other.
That is so beautiful and so true. And I felt that in my heart. There is such a loneliness epidemic happening. Okay, well, how can people find out more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So HeraHub.com, again, Hera being the Greek goddess of women. Ironically, her symbol was the male peacock feather, and hence the whole full circle of my journey, entrepreneurial journey. So
I mean, it was so divinely given to you. So
yes,
beautiful.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so HeraHub.com or Felena.com.
Okay, great, great. And is there any final thing that you'd like to share with us today?
I implore anybody watching, listening to this to get out and get into community. Whatever that looks like for you, take that first step, be bold. Text somebody you haven't texted in a while, or call somebody, or whatever your medium of communication is. Like, step out and offer your support to somebody else, and that will be returned tenfold.
That's so good. Just as you were saying that, what I got is I am going to a 3-day event this weekend that is not my normal typical 3-day event, but it's with somebody that I know and I work with in the financial industry. And speaking of financial freedom, it's in wealth management and growth. And so it's a very out of my comfort zone type of event. And I'm bringing a fellow colleague who I know she's going to get a lot of benefit from it, and she doesn't know anybody there. So I think it's great if you're out there and you're curious about learning more. Put yourself in positions where you can go in places with, something maybe new and different, but go along with somebody who might actually have, interest in there, or the door's already open. You don't have to do it alone,
Yeah.
but just get out there. And I've personally experienced every time I do that, which I promise myself at least once a year I do it, that it is always a life-changing experience for me. So, and the last thing is that everybody else feels as uncomfortable as you do.
Yeah.
Everybody feels that sense of awkwardness and do I belong here, and the limiting beliefs and the self-doubt and the noise that goes on in her head. Everybody else feels the same way. So, oh my gosh, this was such a powerful episode, Felena. I'm so grateful for you and what you do, and that you made time for us here at I Have Today. And I really hope to see you soon. I know I'll be utilizing Hera Hub soon as well in the future too. We have some events coming up, so I look forward to spending more time together. Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you, Diane.
Oh, our pleasure. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. That was so fantastic. She just blows me away. This woman, I didn't even read to you all the things that she's doing and has done, multiple awards, her book. So her book, we are definitely Flight Club. We're going to have that in our bookstore. So team, make a note to make sure that we get that book in there for everybody. And we'll have a link for that in the show notes as well. But that was so fantastic. And so my takeaways today is that community is so important. And I am involved in a lot of communities, but I could always be doing more. You could always be doing more. Get yourself out of your bubble, especially if you do spend a lot of time alone, especially if you have a job and you work from home. That's very, very isolating. You definitely need community. And if you're entrepreneurs, I know you work a lot alone. That community is so important. And together, we are so much better together. All right. So I want to extend an invitation to you right now to explore an opportunity for you in your business, in what you're doing, to get noticed, get respected, and get paid more. And so if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, this is definitely for you. I've created a free masterclass training on getting yourself out there through the power of TV and how it can exponentially grow your business and your brand while at the same time doing it with less work and less hassle. And so this training is a phenomenal free training that I have available for a limited time only. And so we're going to have a link for it right here. And it is called Get Respected, Get Noticed, Respected, and Paid. And it's right there at tvstarhost.com/training. tvstarhost.com/training. So register for that right away while it is still available, and it is for free. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do our mantra meditation, which is the way we end this show so that you can leave the show feeling better at the end than you did at the beginning. And this is going to anchor in everything that we talked about today with Felena Hanson, and in this space of you living with no excuses or regrets, because all you do have is today. So if you're driving, obviously you can't close your eyes. For everybody else, stop all distractions. Give me 3 minutes so we can powerfully integrate our time together here. And you can leave here permanently and positively shifted. Okay? Put your feet flat on the floor. What we're going to do is I'm going to run through this 2 times. We're going to breathe in through our nose for the count of 4 seconds. I want you to breathe in through your nose, pull it all the way down to your root chakra, your tailbone. And then we're going to hold it for the count of 8. And as I'm counting to 8, I want you to visualize sending energy to your 8 chakras, your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, and your soul star, which is about 1 foot or 2 above your head, a very important one. I want you to send energy to them and light them up, because all of these energy centers are connected to everything in your body and your astral field. Okay. Believe it or not, this simple technique is healing you on so many levels. That's why we do this. Okay. So as I'm counting to 8, send the energy to your root chakra, then your sacral, then your solar plexus, then your heart. Like imagine them lighting up. Okay. And then you're going to breathe out through your mouth for the count of 8, like you're blowing out birthday candles. I want you to blow hard like this. Your abdomen will feel like a deflated balloon. And what you're doing is you are releasing any toxic, negative energy, memory, emotion, trauma that's lying dormant in your physical body and your astral body. Okay. That's super powerful. You're going to feel really good. So we're going to do this 2 times. And then all you have to do is listen to my words. The words will do the rest for you. Okay. So put your feet flat on the floor, sit up straight, hands on your lap, close your eyes. And here we go. Breathe in for the count of 4 through your nose. Hold it and send energy to your chakras for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Breathe in for 4 through your nose. Hold it and light up those chakras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small. I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I have today to live with no excuses or regrets. I am a powerful creator and being, and I am going to live my life from this moment on with tenacity, resilience, and grit. I am going to make my dreams come true. I'm going to pay attention to the signs out there and look for the gaps, the solutions, and the opportunities. And most importantly, I am going to surround myself with community. Community, community, community. I am no longer going to struggle through anything in this life alone. I'm going to be supported. I'm going to get relationships going with people who have my back, support me. Maybe they're on the same journey I am. Maybe they're not. But they will be able to enlighten me, protect me, lift me up, validate me, and show me that I am not alone and that anything and everything that I want to do in my life, I can do it. And it's through that support. I don't want to get to the end of my life living with regrets and excuses. I want to feel that at the end of my life, no matter when that is, because I don't know when it is, that I have lived each day to the fullest. I want to support those in my life around me that lift me up, and I want to support others and lift them up with everything that I've experienced in this life, with my knowledge and my wisdom. I want the younger generation to be empowered by everything I've done and what's available. And I want to use my life in a way to be a student of everything, tapped into all the resources of community, and make the income and impact I was born to make. I get to reinvent my life any single day I want, just like Felena said, hundreds and thousands of times if I want. How lucky am I? How lucky and gifted and blessed am I to be living this life that I am? So many others don't have nearly as much as I do. So I'm going to focus on that. And from this day forward, each and every day from now on, I am going to live it full out. I am going to tap into community. I'm going to make it so that no 2 days of my life look alike. And I am going to live it with no regrets and no excuses. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You can open your eyes. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to thank my incredible guest, Felena Hanson. We will have show notes and links for her, as well as show notes and links for us here in the description area. Make sure you're following us. We have great news here at I Have Today. You can now find us live on E360 TV Thursdays at 7 p.m. in prime time. So make sure to make us must-see TV, because that's where we're going to be live for you. And we are also available on all the other platforms I said at the beginning of the show. You can find this show everywhere. We're excited about our new podcast that's launching, Be a TV Star Host, to help you launch your brilliant work out into the world and be known as the expert you are and reach the masses that are waiting for you to inspire, empower, and educate them. That's it for this week's episode of I Have Today. I'm Diane Forster. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.